Hello, my name is Dustin Selva, the creator of Elemental Flutes, and in this video, I want to share with you a pretty unique flute. The whole project was one of the bigger projects I've taken on just because of I'm a little new to making boxes, so I'm gonna tilt the camera down so you can kind of see what it is that I created. So this is a box for the flute, and it's camphor, which came from Florida, um, from a tree trimmer, as well as the black walnut, and both were salvaged. I believe the camphor um, fell over in a storm, or maybe the black walnut did. I forget the two different stories, but one was planted by a couple at their wedding like 30 years before, and then they didn't realize how big it was going to get, so they had to remove it. So that was, I believe, the camphor, and then the black walnut, I believe, fell over in a storm into a pool, and they had to take it out and then mill it all up. So that's two different woods, and then on the top you have rabbits, and so the whole theme of the flute is rabbits. So you have a sitting rabbit, a running rabbit, and then a rabbit that's kind of eating position. So I'll go ahead and open this up. And here we go. So the flute itself is a 18 hole key of E, E, and B triple drone flute with 18 plugs. And then there are 6 different totems. 3 of them are for 432 and 3 of them are for 440. So I will show you the totems first, and then I will go through the flute itself. So the totems are the same as the top of the flute. You have rabbits, and this one's a sitting rabbit. And this one has just a slant in the front, and this is a 440 flute, 440 totem. And then I have a 432 totem, which is not hand carved. This is done by the laser that I have, and it is kind of a relief image, so it's just two-dimensional in a way. It is three-dimensional, but it's not carved round and smooth. And so this has the chimney, and this is a 440 block. So that's basically on the top of the flute you have the running, and so we have the running totems here. And so you have the running rabbit. And then you have the rabbit that is sitting and eating. So I'll pull out the flute and I'll set the box aside. Actually, I'll leave the box. So here is the flute itself. You have a moonstone inlaid, and then you have 2 peridot, along with a camphor mouthpiece separated by a band of black walnut. And on the back side, they were really interested, wanting something to be able to attach a strap so that they could potentially wear it around their neck to kind of take most of the weight while they play it. This is a heavier flute since this is a denser koa. It does have a really nice tonality, which you'll see. So all in all, I mean, this is a really, really nice piece of koa. So I had to ask my friend if he had some unique pieces lying around, and this piece of koa's got a lot of texture and color, and it's hard to capture on the camera, but you have dark striations, which are the dark lines running through the flute. You have basically 2 different types of curl in it. So the curl being let's see if I can capture it a little bit. So when you move the flute, it has this like shimmer reflection where you see these lines come and go, and the darkness comes and goes. There we go. We can get it a little bit better here. So all those lines along here. So these are really tight grained lines. And then you also have these darker, really thick lines all along here. And it's all along the top of the flute too. I don't know how well you can see that. So this was a very unique piece of wood. This is one of the nicest pieces of koa I've worked with. especially since it does have the really nice density, which kind of some of my favorite flutes are the denser flutes. Even though it is a triple flute, so it's going to be a bit heavier, the tonality is one of my favorites. So now I'll go through and I'll put on the totems so you guys get a feel for how it sounds. Okay, so now I have the flute all tied up. And I have basically um, it tied up just temporarily, just for demonstration purposes. So the way I did it is that you have the running rabbit in the middle, and then the eating rabbit to the right, uh, on the right outside of the flute, and then the sitting rabbit on the left. And they're tuned appropriately. So if you find that one side doesn't work, if you forget, just switch it back over. So with how to play this flute, there's so many different combinations. You can play it as a sort of Mayan temple flute. So I am gonna put string through the top three and then the bottom three, and this on the left and the right. And this way you can, when you pull one out, it'll just hang there. Because what I find is that the combinations that I like the most is usually having like three off at a time. That's why I usually do that. I take those three. The middle ones I'll leave open, just because there's really no way to hang them off because they're going to be in the middle. They can't just slide off to the side. So I'll go ahead and set it up. There's one configuration I like, which is like a Mayan temple flute. You take three of the plugs out from the bottom E and three from the bottom B. And this works either the middle E or the outer E. And that's what's really cool about this flute is just the fact that you can make so many different configurations. And I will mention that this flute was designed by Justin Rollefson. He had the idea to take the three flutes in this key configuration to put 18 holes in them, 6 in each. Actually, he does more. He does an extra thumb hole in the back, so he does 21 holes. That allows you to play an extra note while you have the top three covered and you're just playing the bottom three. You can play that next note up, which is a nice feature. To me, it's very challenging and it's just kind of next level. It's if you this already has so much to it that you don't actually need that. So here you go. I'll play a little bit for you and I'll add a little bit of reverb. So just having a triple flute like that is just really, really fun to play around with that configuration. Um, and that works for most fifth series is what we're calling it when they're a fifth apart with the B and the E configuration. You can do a fourth. I don't remember off the top of my head what the fourth is. So what is really cool about that is that you have the ability to play it as a double or as a triple. And the way I do that by playing the outer holes is just pressing my tongue lightly on the middle one. And this allows me to stop the airflow on the middle one, so it just plays a double and then open it up and plays a triple. So you can't do any tonguing techniques while you do that, but it is a really fun way to mess around with making a double and a triple. So I'll go ahead and um, basically leave this configuration, except on the B side, I'm going to open up all 6 holes. So I'm going to take all of the plugs out. And so basically it looks like this, where you have the top B is open, and then 3 open on the bottom, and then all closed in the middle. So that is 2 configurations out of 20 different configurations you can create with this type of flute. So next, I am going to open up the E side and leave the bottom 3 open on the C sharp side. So this is the exact same except opposite. So you have the E, or the B, and that's the 3 open right here, and 3 closed on top. The middle's still the drone, and then you have open on the E. And the way that I configure this flute is for a left-handed player. It is quite of a reach to play this side, so you could open up the middle and play the middle, which lessens the reach, but you're not reaching over any of the holes. So if you reach over the hole, you're going to end up changing the frequency and it's going to sound off. So you play with the left on top over here. You're not reaching over those top holes. You can just try and be careful to kind of raise your fingers, but still, play with your pads of your fingers so that you cover the holes all the way. I'm going to now open these middle 3. So this is the last configuration I'll show you. These middle 3 I'm opening on the drone flute. So this gives you, I believe, I can't remember which note that is. Yeah, it is. So it's B. So it gives you that 5th, which makes sense. So this is the 5th. This is going to be the 5th of the B. So, and then you can jump around and play um, with it as a double or as a triple. This is a little bit more complicated because you have to try and avoid playing over top of it. If you are going to play the drone the whole time, you can play it like this, and it's the exact same. So there you go. There's a lot to play around with. That's very limited amount of configurations. Those are really, really fun configurations to play around with how this flute works. Over time, the flute is going to wet out like a normal Native American style flute. So one of the main things that I do to um, be able to play longer is you take your finger, place it over top of the knife edge, which is the front edge of the hole, and you blow. And this allows you to not make a noise that's heinous while you blow really hard and evacuate that moisture in there. And then you do that to all three. And you'll see just little droplets. And this isn't spit. This is just the moisture from your breath as it condenses on a colder material, like blowing on a window. You'll see it, cold window pane, you'll see it condense very fast. So the colder the flute, the faster it'll let out. So just a tip. So there you go. This is 440. And then if you put on the other blocks, the silhouettes, it'll be 432. And it'll be the same configuration where you have the eating rabbit, the running rabbit, and then the sitting rabbit from right to left. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you really enjoyed this flute. I really enjoyed making it. It took quite a while. I got a little backed up from it. And I really took my time with it to make sure that I, made it really nice. And I really, really like how it turned out, especially the box. I really love how it turned out. And I am going to be making an extra set of plugs for all of them, just in case she does lose them, which will be really nice to have. Other than that, the really unique thing is the strap attachment that I put on the back of it. Just is something that is possible. Not sure how we're gonna make that work. I think there are some type of straps that you can just loop something through. You don't necessarily have to hook it with something like metal, but we'll make that work as far as the neck strap. So I do have this flute mouthpiece in a triangular version, and this is the easiest way I like to make the mouthpiece. It just, for me, it offers, like, I don't have to think about it because it's just middle, left, right, and you know which one you're playing. If you do it in a triangular version, there's still kind of a middle, left, right, but it's a bit more of a challenge. So this makes it way more better for an ease of play, and I am able to play it in all the different configurations in this style. So with all of that said, I really hope you guys enjoyed this flute. I hope you liked how it sounds. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe, and until I do another video, I hope you guys have a beautiful day.